Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Real Talk with Pastor Liana. So we're just gonna dive right in. This week we're talking about how do you know if you have real friends? Think about it. In this society, we're so fixated on Facebook friends, our Instagram friends, and all these people following and liking us that sometimes we get lost in knowing what really makes a good real life friend. So I jotted down a couple of notes that I want to share with you guys today about what I believe makes a good friend. So today I want to touch on 5 qualities of a good friend. If you know these 5 things exist in the people in your life, then you probably have some good friends. And if not, you may need to reevaluate your friendships by the time you're finished watching this video. So the first thing I want to touch on is friendships are mutual. If you're always the one giving, you're always the one showing up everybody else, you're always the one giving advice, you're always the one giving money, you're always the one giving rides, you're always the one there for everyone else, then maybe you need to reevaluate the quality of your friendships. And on the flip side, you may need to do a self-check. Are people always showing up for you, but you're never available for the people that need you in your life? So remember, friendships are like a bank account. There's deposits and there are withdrawals. If you deposit all the time to someone else, but they're never depositing to you, you're gonna end up empty because you're always withdrawing out of yourself. And the reverse side, you gotta do some honest self-checks. So friendships are mutual. That's number 1. Number 2, friends are honest. You don't always want yes people in your life. You don't always want people that are saying things you wanna hear. You want friends that are gonna be honest with you, gonna tell you when you're messing up, gonna tell you when you're slacking. You want friends to tell you if you're not doing a good job at something, not so they can tear you down, but so that they can pull out the best in you. But even though they're honest with you, they also have to be compassionate in how they handle you. So you want friends that are honest, but you always know that their goal is to build you up. Their goal is to encourage you. Their goal is to bring out the best version of you possible. So don't pull back when your friends are being honest with you. Don't be defensive when they're telling you the truth, but be willing to receive the open criticism, knowing that if they're really your friend, that they love you and that they'll always have your best interest at heart. Number 3, friends, real friends, celebrate your successes. If you find that you have friends that are there for you when you're down and when you're out, but then they don't know how to celebrate when you're doing well, they don't know how to encourage you and cheer you on, or they kind of have that jealousy streak in you, once again, you may want to reevaluate those friendships, because real friends are not intimidated by your successes. Real friends are not jealous when you're doing well. Real friends are there for you when you're up and when you're down. They know how to say, hey girl, hey man, you're doing a really good job. I'm so proud of you. I'm excited about what God's doing in your life. This is amazing. If you start to notice that when you're doing well, people start being shady, they start being distant, they want to, have subliminal comments about your successes, those aren't real friends, or they don't really have your best interest at heart. They're not just supposed to be there when you're doing bad. They're supposed to be there when you're on your high, and they're supposed to be able to celebrate that journey with you. So real friends know how to celebrate your successes in life. Number 4, just like real friends know how to celebrate your successes, real friends don't kick you when you're down either. Real friends notice when you're at a low, and they know how to encourage you to get back up. Like I said, they're honest with you. So if you're messing up in life, or you're not doing the things you're supposed to do, you're not really running the race like you're supposed to be running it, the things that God has put in your spirit, those same friends need to come along and say, I'm not gonna beat you up, but I'm gonna encourage you to get back up. So real friends, they celebrate your successes, but they also do not kick you when you're down. They know how to encourage you and to keep you going. And the 5th thing that I want to point out is that real friends hold you accountable to your dreams. That means you have to be open and honest about the things that you're pursuing. And you have to allow people in to your dreams so they can hold you accountable, once again, if you're slacking off, or they can be there to cheer you on as you're moving ahead. But you never want to stay stagnant in life. If you have the same friends that you look up in 5 years and they're not really encouraging you to do any better in your life, and they're not holding you accountable to your dreams, they're not holding you accountable to your goals, they're not being real friendly, because real friends, they push you. And they say to you, hey, you said you were going to do X, Y, and Z. Why aren't you doing it? It's been 3 years. It's been 3 months. It's been a week and you haven't even touched that idea. Real friends hold you accountable to your dreams. And that any dream, that could be you say, hey, you know what? I want to go back to school. Or I want to go to school out of state. Or I'm trying to find a new job. Or I'm launching this business. Or I have this idea. Your real friends are going to say to you, how are you doing at that? And they're going to hold you accountable to your dreams. So there are 5 areas that are really important to knowing if you have quality friends. But here's one thing I want to point out about friendship. No one is perfect. And sometimes in life, when people fall short, we tend to kick them out of our lives immediately. So even though I know that those are the quality areas that your friends should have, I also want you to remember that people will disappoint you sometimes. The question becomes, what is their track record? Do they get back up? Do they acknowledge when they have disappointed you, when they acknowledge when they've messed up? And do they try to move forward? Do you give them room to make a mistake, but then you also are able to forgive them and move forward? Because we will, at some point, be disappointed or be a disappointment to someone else. But the question is, are you committed to being a good friend? And if you're committed to being a good friend, you'll acknowledge where you fell short, you'll do better in that area, and you'll move forward in your friendship. So this week's episode of Real Talk with Pastor Liana is about acknowledging what it takes to be a good friend, acknowledging when you have fallen short or when your friend has fallen short, making room for grace and moving forward in the journey. So thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Real Talk with Pastor Liana. If you heard anything today that you like, be sure to like this video, share it with a friend, and subscribe to our channel. And do not forget to follow us on Instagram at TheRealFCBC for continual encouragement throughout your week. I'm Pastor Liana, and I will see you on the next episode of Real Talk with Pastor Liana.